stay in that posture? How does coming out of posture, how does losing your spine angle affect what happens to the flight of the golf ball? Well, let me show you what I mean. So we'll take these two hangers here. We'll make a little pathway for us. So here's our pathway right here. Now, Jordan is not a guy that's going to curve the ball a lot. And what that means is that in order for him to be successful, he has to really be good with what's happening with the path of the club. So if I don't have face rotation coming into this, the path of the golf club is going to predict the starting spot of where the ball goes. And what happens is that if I'm hitting a shot and I've got my club traveling down this path with a very square face, this ball should go pretty straight. And it does, goes pretty straight. Well, if I take the path, and now all of a sudden I have this path moving out to the push side, now all of a sudden, in order for this ball to get back to the target, what I have to do is I have to close the face and do that when the club is traveling its fastest. Jordan doesn't play golf that way. In fact, I would suggest not playing golf that way at all. Well, what happens is that when you lose your spine angle, and maintaining spine angle is just another fancy way sort of saying keeping your hips back and deep through the strike, now all of a sudden the distance that the ball is from your sternum maintains the same, and the arms and hands and the club are right in front of you. So what happens is that your body can rotate freely through the shot. You can strike it clearly. You don't have a lot of face rotation. The ball is going to go fairly straight. Once I take my lower body and let it come in here, now all of a sudden the club is getting trapped behind me and I get into trouble. So what I like to do is do this little drill. Take the breed bar, I'm going to set this up this way, and you can do this at your home against a wall. And all you're going to do is just let your rear get up against that, and now we just want to feel my left butt cheek staying on that wall as I come through the strike. And as I start to do that, my arms can move freely, my body can rotate through there, my balance is really good, and I get that sense. And this is really what Jordan was efforting trying to do. He wasn't able to do it, and this is what he and Cameron were talking about doing. So I set this up, come in here, and you can see how straight that ball goes. Now, I'm not going to be able to put all the speed into the shot that I need, but that golf ball goes straight like that. After you've done that for a little bit, now you can take the coat hangers out of the way, put this in here, and now maintaining that spine angle allows my body to rotate through properly, and that one there obviously was a clean strike. One of the other things that I like to do is use a hockey stick. Now, one of the reasons why a hockey stick is going to help you is because if you get handsy with this, or you don't keep the body rotating, and that's what Jordan was talking about. He couldn't go around himself or rotate around himself. Well, when I start to take my body and I'm rotating it, the hockey stick will not hit me in the side. So I just practice swinging this way, letting the body rotate that way. Now I've done that. Take that, got to put a little hockey in here, pass that over there. Now I get the same image, the same feel of that extended shaft coming out of that. Body is rotating, staying in the spine angle. This one here should be a clean strike. Very good strike. That one there might go the farthest one that we've hit today. That was really clean. And that body is rotating through. Now, Jordan's struggles, in my opinion, were really this next shot that he hit on the 12th hole with this wedge. I don't believe that he was completely focused on what he was doing, and he came into this, and this was in the water immediately. In fact, it barely got into the water. That tells you, look at how quiet the body is. Look at how his lead elbow is bending out of there. There's no flinging to the club head, and this is the exact same issue as what was happening with the 7-iron, not being able to get out of the way. Why is it? Well, first of all, he's hitting that shot into the green. So that grass is cut from the green back to the tee on 12 and headed that way on 13. Now, let me show you what that's like. So we got this mop right here, and you can see the grain of this mop is going this way. When I take my hand and I brush over this, that mop stays relatively quiet. Now, when I flip this around this way, and I start to go down like that, look at how much movement happens in that. You see that? And it gets harder to hit the ball because when you are going into the grain, you're taking all of the blades of the grass and standing them up. And so if I have let me get a golf ball here. If I have a golf ball sitting on this, and I come in here and I catch this just a little bit fat, that strand of grass is going to get between the club head and the ball's going to get muffled and it's not going to go anywhere. Well, why would you hit it fat? Well, you would hit it fat because when you come out of that spine angle, what happens is that the club is coming a little bit more from the inside, which means it's lower and closer to the ground, and all of a sudden, it grabs a couple of strands, and then it stands it all up, and look at how much is between the face of the club right there. Look at how low that is. When I go in the other direction and go down grain, and I have the club coming in here, you can see how much of the face that you can see right there. And the reason why is because I'm going with the grain, so that shot would have been a lot easier for him had it been down grain. Obviously, it wasn't. Now, what do we do when we have that down grain shot? What are the things that we're going to do? Well, one of the things, obviously, is what we just shared about maintaining the spine angle. That's going to make that bottom of the arc get a little bit more forward, and it's going to get the path down the line. One little thing that you can do is just move that ball position back in your stance a bit. Now, when you move it back in your stance, what I want you to understand is that as you come in, the club is going to be coming a little bit more from the inside, so we have to open up. So we have to aim a little bit more to the left when we start to move that ball back. So we just put it back in the stance. We're going to open up just a little bit. And now I'm going to make sure that I let my body rotate out of the way. That's a good, clean strike. That ball went the distance that I wanted it to go. That's one of the things that you can do. One of the things that you can do on the golf course if you don't have a hockey stick is just make some swings with the club. Hold the club at about I call it the 40-yard line. It's about 40% of the way down here close to that club, down to the head. And then when I swing through, I'm just going to swing and get the same sense as that hockey stick does, just making that body rotate out of the way just like that. And then you can do that. The beauty of that is when you're on the golf course, you can do that. Put that ball back, get that same sense that body is rotating. Club shaft stays outside. Really good strike there. That's how you can fix that problem, and that's how you can understand how those two shots are the same.